Welcome to the Cardboard Stagger, a video series where I give a basic breakdown of a game and give my final thoughts at the end. The game that I will be going through today is Battlecon Devastation of Indines. In this video, I will briefly go through what's in the box and later share my opinions with you. Devastation of Indines is published by Level 99 Games. The lead designer was Brad Tolton Jr., retails for $75 and was released in early 2014. A standard game plays in roughly 20 minutes, and while the main game plays with 2 players, the game offers ways to play with up to 5 players. Battlecon is a fighting game, very much in the same lines of a fighting video game like Street Fighter, but more like Soul Calibur and BlazBlue, where 2 players duel each other by using their characters' unique abilities and synthesize attack to outguess their opponent. The object of the game is to reduce your opponent's life points down to 0, or have the highest remaining life points when time expires. For a basic 2-player game setup, first place the game board on a flat surface. Each player chooses which character they want to use. If you have them in package, remove all the cards and character stand. Place the character stands on the board. Each player receives 6 generic bases and 1 unique base card, with 4 bases starting in hand. Your character comes with 5 style cards, and you start with 3 of them. The other cards are placed in one of the 2 discard piles. If playing with the finisher variant, choose one side of the 2-sided finisher card to use. There is also a reference card, and behind the character portrait, the character ability. Get out 2 life trackers for each player and 1 time spinner. Set life totals to 20 and the time limit to 15 beats. Set up tokens if needed. And this is what a typical setup should look like. In the beginning of a single beat or turn, each player secretly selects a base and a style card. Before revealing their cards, each player sees if their characters have an anti-ability and if he or she wants to use them. So when both cards are revealed, they make an attack pair. Style modifiers are added to the values of the base's range, power, and priority. Each player then checks their character's priority to see who will be the first active attacker. A successful hit means that the defender is in range of an attack. If an attack hits, then the active attacker is able to do damage based on the value of their power. But be careful, when a defender receives damage, he may not be able to return a counterattack. It is a good idea to have a good amount of stun guard to prevent from being stunned. A battle is over when the character's health is reduced to 0 or lower, or when the time has elapsed and the victor is the one who has the most life. This was a brief overview on how the basic game is played. There are many rules I have left out, including card effects and abilities. For a more detailed walkthrough on how to play, please view my previous video on War of Indines. Next, I'm going to show you what other things you can find in Devastations. There are a total of 7 variants you can complement your game by adding some new rules. Your first variant you use once you are familiar with the rules of the game is Anti-Finisher. In a duel, when a character reaches 7 or less life, this ultimate attack can be used. The second variant gives you a special action card to combine with a base to either use a finisher, cancel, or pulse. Arenas puts the combatants in a setting that affects the area of the game. EX Duel and Almighty Duel bases replace the set of original bases for more powerful ones that are used in boss battles. The beta bases are another set of bases that act differently from the original bases. Lastly, the Lesson Duel acts as a reminder card to help new players learn from their mistakes they may make playing Battlecon by giving them an extra helping. While the variants add small rules to the mix of gameplay, modes changes the overall experience. In character teams, you build a team of different characters in sequential matches. In tag teams, using the tag base, you switch out your character with one on standby, kinda like Marvel vs. Capcom. Multiplayer modes pits players of 2, 3, or 4 to fight on teams, like 2 vs 2, 2 vs boss, and 3 vs boss. A boss player will have more life points and alternative bases used here. Scenarios are your big boss battles. You can play up to 4 players against one boss. The bosses here have different rules of play, and all the other players must work together in order to defeat one single boss. The bosses, on the other hand, must take out all the other players by using powerful attacks. Devastation comes with 4 bosses. Battle Quest Dungeons is a tribute to games like Double Dragon and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles the arcade game. Using the same board, a team of players will buy some gear, explore room to room, beat up enemies, and finally find what's lurking at the bottom of the dungeon. This mode has 6 dungeons to explore and has both solo and cooperative play. Starting with the box, this is not your average square size box. It fits everything, but if you're going to sleeve the cards, you might need to get rid of the box insert. The game board has improved from the last game. It's way bigger, since the character stands are also bigger, and the rules reference are now on the board. A big thumbs up. The cards are of good quality, but I recommend that you sleeve them all since marked cards won't work in this game. The card layout is clear and intuitive, and in the text boxes, all the important trigger steps are colored labeled. That's really cool. The card holders, absent from the previous game, is a big plus for me. Every cardboard marker and token looks and feels great. The upside is that they're big and anyone can see them from across the table. The downside is that since there are a lot of tokens, storage is an issue which I will go into later. The art of Unit 2, also known as Nokomento, makes the game feel full and vibrant and gives each character life and personality. Fabio Fontes gives a quirky edge with his anime style, and Danny Hirageta wants me to see the world of Indines myself. I have not been enthralled with the art in any game in my life, and Devastation is the first to do so. Some of the pros of this game is that there are a lot of variety of gameplay. The combinations of fighters versus fighters and various gameplay modes makes Devastations have an extremely high replay value. With 30 different characters to choose from, there is a lot you can do with this game. The game also features a built-in introduction so new players can begin learning, starting from the basic characters and game modes. This is done by flight packs when once you get familiar with the contents in it, you can move up to the next higher level pack. The comic style tutorial found in the rulebook is great and makes it easier to help people learn the classic duel. One of the best new things that Devastations comes with is the very cool dungeon mode. There's not a lot of new rules to learn for dungeon mode, so jumping in is easier than you think. There's even a store to outfit your characters, and there are 6 dungeons to face, including solo and cooperative play. You can combine Devastations of Indines with War of Indines, but I highly recommend getting the update patch cards that comes with an extended edition which can be bought at the publisher store. Most of the games that most people play are classic duels. The time it plays in is close to a good length CCG, 15 to 20 minutes or so. You will only need a few things out of the box when you set up a game, which are just the character cards and bases, game board, and life trackers. Battlecon is a skill-based game, and that the moves you make must be good. There are no deck building, coin flipping, nor dice rolling, and it's up to you to position your characters and plan ahead of time to defeat your opponent. Characters seem to be all balanced from what I have played through so far, but the amazing thing is that they are all unique in how they play. Lastly, the game is played simultaneously on each of the player's turn, and is one of the things that makes Battlecon unique for a 2-player game. While in other games it is your turn, do your stuff, and then pass, Battlecon manages to do this in one step for both players. The funny thing is, at the start of a match, I'm just used to saying, "Who goes first?" That's not found here. The game feels very thematic. What I mean here is that each of the fighters, modes, arenas, and etc. feel crafted in a way that the personality or the persona coincides with the mechanisms of the gameplay. There's a puppet possessing puppeteer, a summoner with creatures at her disposal, and a mad scientist that sets traps. They play just how they sound. In one of the arenas where you're in a factory, the match starts on a conveyor belt that suddenly begins to move the characters to the end of the board. Some of my favorite variants I like to play so far are finishers, which I always play with. Other variants I like are arenas, scenarios, and battle quests. There are a few cons I'd like to mention. Starting off, I wish the dungeon mode can be expanded, and I hope that it certainly will, because there is still a lot left to explore. Unfortunately, the game comes with generic monster tokens for the different monsters found in the dungeon book. Also, Dungeon Quest is not for beginners, and that even when I was playing it with the co-op map, it takes a good amount of time to defeat a stage. Some of the variants that I'm not too fond with are the character teams and tag teams, which I think adds a bit of use space to the game. Multiplayer modes like 2 vs 2 or against an EX or an almighty character feels a little too fussy, especially when things clash together. Perhaps the most imitating thing when people consider buying this game is the price point, which is $75. That's pretty steep on most gaming budgets. From my point of view, there are a lot of things that Devastation has to offer. Even if you just want to play the classic duel alone, you will have your money's worth and then some. Now bear with me. Say I would price each character $1.50 for the cards and tokens. There are 30 characters. If you at least play each character twice in a best 2 out of 3 match, then 60 times $1.50 is $90. And that's just only the basic game. On top of that, there are a total of 870 1 vs 1 combinations you can play. I got the game in November 2013 as a Kickstarter. Since the making of this video up to its premiere in March 2014, I have not even played through everything that this box has to offer. Looking back at War of Indines, one of the things that really hurt the game was the lack of proper organization. Unless you printed organizers from the web, you're left with shuffled cards and a pile of random tokens on the bottom of the box. As for Devastations, there were many good improvements with character sorters and the box insert that came with the game. Unfortunately, the box insert is too small and leaves little room for expansions. Now, is this a game for you? If you're looking for a quick, light game, you may want to look in a different direction. And for those who are not familiar with collectible card games, this game will be a stretch to learn. I did mention CCGs, since the game flow is similar in structure and demeanors of other CCGs. There are a lot of things you need to know, especially figuring out what your opponent can and cannot do, and especially getting the hang of the game flow. The game will become more enjoyable as you quickly think things over, from knowing what attack combinations you can make and guessing what you think an opponent is going to do. One of the best things you can do to learn the game is to, just like anything, find a person who knows how to play. If not, the best next thing is the internet. I also recommend getting the extended edition. First, it doubles your character roster by giving each character an alternative ability, art, and additional character stands. Fixes some of the things you need if you want to combine War of Indines, and finally, promos. Going to my final thoughts. The game is beautiful and elegant. I can see the time, the effort, and the passion that has been put into this game. Anytime I play this game, scenes fly through my head of King Alexian charging at full force, Joel Claymore throwing every weapon he's got, and the epic battle with Havoc and the heroes. Devastation of Indines is now my favorite game of all time. If I were stuck on a desert island with at least someone to play with, this is the only thing I want to have. And food. Because of its unlimited replayability, a very well structured game, lovable characters and art, and a buffet of variants, Devastation of Indines is worth every penny. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment below and subscribe to my channel. This has been the Cardboard Stacker. After a month I got the game, I made my insert out of foam core. It is organized with each character complexity divided up into groups, and their tokens placed within their space. A place for bases and removable inserts. Let me know what you think.